We are here for this 11th Annual Interfaith Awareness Day. The theme for this Interfaith Awareness Day is, could you recite with me together? One God, one aim, one destiny. Could we say that one more time with a little more energy? One God, one aim, one destiny. Thank you. We're going to have a wonderful time this afternoon. For me, the fact that we're here celebrating an Interfaith Awareness Day raises a particular question for me. And I just like to throw the question out to all of you. What do you think came first, matter or spirit? What do you think came first, matter or spirit? I think interfaith awareness relates to this particular question, dealing with issues of matter and spirit. At this time, I'd like to first of all, acknowledge Dr. Rowan Lewis, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Education and Liberal Studies here at UTECH. Dr. Lewis. I'd like to introduce Reverend Dr. Martin Shade. Dr. Shade, everybody knows him, senior lecturer. And I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of Baba Horace Matthews, JP, who will be the guest speaker this afternoon. Reverend Dr. Marjorie Lewis should be here also with us sometime soon. At this time then, Dr. Shade, would you like to come forward please and do the welcome? Thank you.
Yes, number 11. As I told the head of the school, Dr. Norma Gordon Bell, when she emailed and said blessings on the program today, I responded, I said, it gets easier every year. This is number 11, learning how to do it, and I have to big up all of the different religions. Without the different religions coming, we wouldn't be able to be here. So I want to especially thank that the Islamic Council is on their way, hopefully. They've promised me on several occasions. But the fact is, today we pay tribute to our very first national hero. And as the flyer that went out, we pay tribute to this great man because he is a man of interfaith, and a new word perhaps for some of you, or if not all of you, he is a man of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an African philosophy which I just fairly recently came to understand. By name, I understood it as a philosophy already, but not with the name Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the essence of being human. It is I am because we are because I am. The first song that you heard is the theme song, the logo song, the song of Ubuntu group here at UTECH. Ubuntu is part of our community service program. All of we are connected. And the interfaith movement is an expression of Ubuntu, because all of we are one. Even though we have many different expressions of God, there's one God, and we're all under that one God. And how we express it is the beauty of unity and diversity. So I just wanted to welcome everyone. It's so great that we keep on having this every year, and it seems like it gets better and better. And rightly so, we get more and more practice. So on that note, I bring it back to the MC to welcome our beloved Dean of the Faculty of Education and Liberal Studies, but I'll let the MC do that.
When you talk to people, they always look for the things that are different. Persons never tend to look at what we have in common. Oh, you're different from mine. You know, your understanding is different from mine. Instead of looking at the things we have in common and working from there. At this time, as the program goes on, we'd like to invite Baba Horace Matthews, JP, who is the chairman of the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party, and he's also a former president of the UNIA. Everybody knows what the UNIA is? Okay. Universal Negro Improvement Association. Universal. Could you welcome Baba Matthews, please? Baba Horace Matthews, as he comes to pay a tribute to Marcus Garvey.
Give thanks, Brother Sam. A blessed love and greetings to you all. I wish that when you leave here today, you are more empowered than when you came. And today is a very special day that we pay tribute to our first national hero, the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. A very extraordinary human being. If I said, how many of you know someone that was born between 1887 and lived until 1940? You could hardly think of anyone else. Marcus Garvey elevated himself to such an height that he is known worldwide. Many other people that was born within that period are unknown people. They existed, but they did not contribute anything of substance to the human society. So Mr. Garvey, being born in Jamaica, is special to us as we embrace him as our first national hero. About Mr. Garvey, he lived for 53 years. Well lived, because his legacy is still with us. The UNIA, which he founded in 1914, is still active with us today. Any of you know where a division of the UNIA is? The UNIA is still active. They meet the first Sunday of each month at 76 King Street at 3 p.m. So make an effort to get to King Street and be a part of that meeting. We have the honor today to have the now president of the UNIA with us, Brother Stephen Golding. Carrying on the legacy of the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey. His organization, the UNIA, was there for the upliftment of black people who were downtrodden in the 1920s. I'll share with you on your program what he said. When God breathed into the nostrils of humanity the breath of life, made humans a living soul, and bestowed upon man and woman the authority of Lord of creation, God never intended that an individual should descend to the level of a peon, a serf, or a slave, but that he or she should be always human in the fullest possession of his or her senses. But how changed has humans become since creation? We find persons today divided into different classes. The helpless imbecile, the dependent slave, the servant and the master. These different classes God never created. God created man and woman. I want you to fixate this in your faculties, because this is so true. Even though sometimes we tend to believe to the contrary. Sometimes you are asked a task and you say, "I can't do it. It's too hard." Mr. Garvey said, what man has done or woman has done, man can do, and so too woman can do. Nothing too hard. You are equipped with the greatest computer ever, the human brain. that gray matter that you have transcends all human computer that has been made, because it is that higher computer that created the other computers. Never be afraid of challenges. In 1914, Mr. Garvey said, "Where is the black man's government?" Because in 1914, everything was set up under the colonial rule. The white man ruled everything, the white man labeled everything, the white man wrote the dictionary and put in the dictionary that black mean wicked and evil. Yes, look in your Oxford dictionary and you see the definition of black meaning evil and wicked and malicious. And in the same dictionary it put white meaning purity and everything that is good. So we must understand that our reality has been shaped by people who don't know our reality, and by extension, people who we taught. The first university that was built in Europe was built by Africans, the Blackamoors. Do your research. The first university that existed was in Africa. We had several universities. The University of Alexandria, the University of Timbuktu, the University of Luxor. So we have great achievements. Doctors today take what they call the Hippocratic Oath. Hippocrates, the Greek, learned from the works of an African by the name of Imhotep. Imhotep. Imhotep is the world's first multi-genius. The first multi-genius recorded. So we have great things in our genes. But because we have been labeled, we have been given some labels, and we have accepted these labels, that we want to live the reality of those labels. Mr. Garvey said, "Up, you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will." He had some great sayings. The ends you serve that are selfish will get you no further than yourself. The ends you serve for all in common will get you into eternity. Marcus Mosiah Garvey will always be remembered in eternity, because he expounded well, he articulated well, and he did not live a selfish life. He lived his life for 400 million Africans, and by extension he lived for all other nations of people. What a great man! Who will be the next Marcus Garvey? Who will walk in his shoes? And a woman can do it. Mr. Garvey loved this woman. Mr. Garvey said, every division of the UNIA must have a male president and a female president. He did not leave the woman out. A male president and a female president. We must always think of the treasure that we have in Mr. Garvey. And I'm hoping that every school will get a copy of his book, The Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. That book had been out of print for some years. One of our brothers got the right to reprint this book, and it is now being typeset to be reprinted. And part of that project is that every school in Jamaica should have a copy of the Philosophy and Opinions. This book, along with the sister book, Message to the People. Mr. Garvey wrote Message to the People to train everyone who aspired to become a president of the UNIA. And after Mr. Garvey's passing, all presidents that emerged were scholars of that book, Message to the People, a course in African philosophy. So we owe Mr. Garvey a great tribute. And sometimes I would knock the government for not doing more to establish the works of the Honorable Marcus Garvey in the schools. It is not good to just know that he's your first national hero, or that he was born in St. Anne's Bay, 32 Market Street. The philosophy that he expounded is what we must know. Mr. Garvey said, without confidence, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won the race before you have started. That says a lot. When you have confidence, you will tackle any task and say, at the end of it, it is done, I have accomplished. That's the confidence Mr. Garvey left Jamaica with and went to the United States in 1916, spent 11 years in the United States, and became the most known person in the world. His organization grew to over 11 million members worldwide. We have organizations today can't even pass 1,000 members. And we have internet and cell phone and all these means of communication. Mr. Garvey had his newspaper, The Watchman, or the Negro World, or the Black Man. He was a great orator, he was a printer. And as I mentioned that, I remember coming into year 2000, Mr. Garvey was voted amongst all the philosophers of time immemorial. And he was in the top 50. So out of the trillions of people that lived, and some of those that expounded philosophy, the Platos and the Greeks that we know so much about, Mr. Garvey was voted in the top 50 philosophers of all time. Great achievement. Something that we should emulate. Now I'll briefly touch on Mr. Garvey's sojourn in Jamaica. Mr. Garvey realized that laws that were present in Jamaica did not uplift people of African descent. He started the People's Political Party in 1928 to advocate for the rights of our people. He wanted the minimum wage. He wanted 8-hour work. He wanted a park to be built to emulate the park that was in London, Hyde Park. I think Emancipation Park is something that we could look at as fulfilling that dream that Mr. Garvey had. Mr. Garvey talked about a polytechnic university way back in 1928, before any of our present universities were built. So when you look at the fourth line of our anthem, anyone know the fourth line of our anthem, the second stanza? Give us vision lest we perish. Mr. Garvey the visionary saw that we needed the Polytechnic University, and he went as far and said every parish should have one, not only Kingston and St. University. He believed in education. Mr. Garvey said the lines that will be drawn in the 21st century will be lines drawn within the concept of who can produce the highest scientific principles. Science and technology. So when we roll back our memory to to those days when it didn't exist, but Mr. Garvey had projected himself and knew that the era would come when technology and science would rule the world. I could speak until tomorrow morning about the achievements of Mr. Garvey, because I have in my possession over 50 books that have been written about Mr. Garvey. He is one of the world's most written about persons. There's over 5,000 pictorials that have been produced about Mr. Garvey. We have this treasure and don't even know. We have this treasure and not even respecting it. If other nations had a Mr. Garvey, that nation would surely rule the world. It would not be the United States. So we have Mr. Garvey. We have his philosophy. We have the UNIA still in existence. Let us wise up, rise up, and rule the world. I'll end with his great motto, the man of Ubuntu. One God, one aim, one destiny. Thank you.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Honestly, we need to really, some of these things, did we know that Honorable Marcus Garvey is so respected? 50 books you say you have?
Yes.
50 books written about. At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Dr. Marjorie Lewis, who is the president of the United Theological College, and also the president of the Jamaica Council for Interfaith Fellowship. Could you help me welcome her to make a statement, please?